YouTube. What it do? It's your boy Dreamville back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over staying in your lane and the path that you're supposed to be on. See, most of us, right? We do this thing where we look at other people's path and we say, damn, why am I not on that path? Or we say to ourselves, damn, why are they on that path? And what can I do to get on that path? And, you know, as somebody who has followed multiple people's paths in life, there is one thing that has taught me from following people's paths in life. Not every path is meant for you, bro. Not every path is meant for you. You know, some of you, man, you follow the path that other people laid out for you, but you don't even really like the path. So why follow the path? You feel me? Why follow the path? Why go down this route where you know you don't want to go down this route, but you just go down it because other people tell you to? I'm gonna tell you something. If you do that, if you go down paths and routes just because other people tell you to, you're gonna hate where you end up. You're gonna hate where you end up. And why do I say that? Because, you know, I'm living proof of it. You know, everybody told me that this career path that I'm doing or these things that I'm doing right now, bro, that they were gonna be the answer. And the money was nice, security was nice, but was it the answer? No. Why? Because I'm not them. They needed that because it was their path for them. And see, that's where people get confused, because we think that one path is meant for everybody when in reality no path is meant for nobody. You never know where the path may take you, or where you may end up along the path. You never know. You will never know. And sometimes, you know, even if you do figure out the path you want to go to in life, man, things just happen. And now you're taking a different path when you know, you weren't even expecting to be on this path, and now you're on this path. So you just got to be conscientious of that, man. You just got to be conscientious of that. You just got to really sit there and say, is this the path that I want to be now? And if it's not, then it's not for you. Step aside, you know? And this also goes to the people who envy others' path. You know, you see a guy, he's 20 years old, 19 years old, 18 years old, making $1 million off the internet, you know, and then you look at your situation, you're 30, you're looking at these guys, you're like, how do these guys have so much money, so much time, all this sort of shit, all the things you want? How do they have what you want? You know, and to that I say, it's not your path, you know. Maybe that guy that you envy, maybe that was his path, to go and make millions of dollars at 20. But guess what? Maybe that $1 million at 20, next you know, he's 25. Now he's in prison for life. Did you ever think about that? That happens. People who get success real early, you know what they do? They blow it. That happens. That happens. People who hit success real early, or people who didn't really work for their success, or, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know, they could lose it all and never recover. Never recover. Did you hear that? Never recover. So don't envy somebody else's path because they're where you want to be, bro. Be inspired. And also too, to note that if you see somebody who you want to follow down, right? If you see a path who you want to follow, you got to ask yourself, are you willing to embrace that path, because I know I mentioned before that, don't follow people's path and create your own path. But at the same time, it's okay to follow people's path unless it's something you truly want to do. If it is not truly something you want to do, if you don't want to, if you don't want to work underneath your dad, you know what I mean? If you don't want to help with his business, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not everything's worth the money, man. Not everything's worth the money, nigga. Not everything's worth the money. Not everything's worth the time. Not everything's worth the effort. Not everything's worth the energy. And what some of y'all fail to realize is that y'all want the money and y'all will do whatever it takes by any means. And I'm here to tell you right now, that ain't good money. That ain't good money. All that's gonna do for you is leave you in heartbreak, frustration, desperation, and just overall sadness. Like your flow of life is just You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy when he's 30, 40, and he's still having hoop dreams. You don't want to be that guy. And if you are that guy, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But, at a certain age, at a certain point, at certain periods in life, bro, there's just certain things that you gotta move past and you gotta do, That's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's just how it is, man. So don't envy somebody else's path because they're doing something that you want to do. Create your own path. Create your own path. Because most people think that, people who are ahead of them know what they're doing, but guess what? The people ahead of you can lead you off the cliff. Yep. The people ahead of you can lead you off a cliff. Yep. The people ahead of you can lead you off a cliff. So now that you have that perspective, why would you not want to see what's ahead of him? Well, how can you see what's ahead of them? You create your own path. If everybody asks you, should we go left or go right? You pick the direction. You don't let somebody else tell you where to go, because you may end up somewhere where you don't like where you ended up, and you can't blame nobody else but yourself because you decided to follow them. You decided to follow them. You can't get mad at them. They're just following their own path. They're just following their own path. So you can't get mad at, you can't get mad at your mom if she tells you to go to school when she went to school, but school's not for you. If you want to build a business, bro. You just have to acknowledge that you're on a different path, bro. And you can't let the people on these other paths tell you where you should go. It's your life. You decide where you want to go. If you want to be a fucking doctor, be a fucking doctor. A dentist, be a damn dentist. If you want to travel the world and be an influencer, do that. It's your path, bro. Don't let people tell you what to do on your path, on your way to a better life. That's all I got for today, man. Y'all stay blessed, man.